Hey, it's Trevy the Great here with another Warhammer 40,000 battle report. Sorry I haven't done one of these in a while. I actually lost my camera a while ago, and I was borrowing a replacement camera. However, that one turned out to be really bad, took very bad pictures, and I didn't really feel comfortable putting them on the internet because I'm pretty sure a lot of you would have laughed at me. So I am borrowing a different camera. This is a very good camera, so hopefully I'll have some more close-up pictures and things. More than I used to, because this camera takes a lot better like macro shots. So hopefully you guys enjoy this battle report. Obviously, this is with my Blood Angels. Now, I don't think I've put these on a battle report in the past, so this will be their big debut, I guess. This army it's sort of a do-it-yourself Space Marine chapter. They're called the Angels Perditus. They have this like black color scheme, and they all have these really nice lava bases. I'm sure there'll be more close-up photos of those in the future of the battle report. So you can see those right now down there in the center on the bottom corner there. Now my opponent is Orks. He took a very standard Ork horde. He took 2 units of 30 boys with, I believe, big shooters and a knob with a power claw. Then he took a unit of 30 Ard boys, and they are with a 2 big shooters and a knob with a power claw, and they are joined by a big mech with a custom force field. And then he has a battle wagon just hanging around in the back there. However, the battle wagon doesn't have any models in it, so I wasn't really sure why that was there, to be honest. My army, to take what's a lot of people consider a non-standard Blood Angels army, because I don't really like the Razorback spam and the stuff that's going around right now. I have 2 tactical squads with no upgrades. They just have the missile launcher and the flamer that they come with. And I have 2 assault squads with the sergeant with a power sword and a meltagun and a flamer. And then I have 1 scout squad with 5 models with sniper rifles, no other upgrades, and I have a captain with a jump pack and a power sword and melta bombs just in case. So I like to use my jump infantry to try to outmaneuver my opponent, while my tactical marines sort of hold my objectives and deliver some covering fire. So unfortunately, with the number of orcs that are deploying across from me, we'll see how that goes. So the mission is seize ground, and obviously the deployment is pitched battle. Oh, actually, sorry, the mission is capture and control, not seize ground. And so my objective there is in the middle of my guys on this little sort of plateau thing down in the bottom center of the picture, and my opponent's is up in the top of the picture towards the upper left-hand side of the board next to that larger ruined building. You can't really see it because it's been hiding by a horde of orcs. So here's the game after the first round. As you can see with this army, I like to deploy very defensively, despite the fact that it is a Blood Angels army and gets a lot of assault troops and really close combat-oriented stuff. So I deployed my units back in this cover over here to get cover from whatever he was using against me. I didn't know if he had any power armor piercing weapons, and it turned out he didn't, but it's good to be in cover anyway. My assault squad moved around the side there to see if they could try to outmaneuver my opponent. I like to go second in a lot of these games because it forces my opponent to sort of show their hand before my models before I need to commit my models anywhere. And assault squads are so fast that I can move them almost anywhere on the board that I want to without much trouble. So I have my other assault squad behind the scouts and the tactical squad on that little plateau. You can't really see it yet, but they haven't moved at all. They're just getting ready to try to move around that side of the board and get around to my opponent's objective in the back. And possibly kill that battle wagon on the way through. As you can see, my opponent has moved up with all of his guys very simply. Obviously, orcs are not the greatest tacticians in the world, so they don't have much more of a battle plan than let's move forward and crump the bad guys with our giant pointy sticks. So this is into my turn 3. That Orc Boys squad on my right-hand flank that was moving towards my objective took a bunch of casualties to shooting, and I was able to combo charge it with every single one of my units, bar the scout squad. Now, yeah, I really did not want any of these orcs getting through in order to contest my objective and things, so I put as many models on the orc squad as I could, and it turned out I had just enough attacks to wipe it out. So that was a good move on my part. Unfortunately, I sort of don't have the tactical flexibility to get many of these combo charges off in one game. I sort of have one that I can pull, So now my troops are pulled out of position. I'm going to move that assault squad that's over on the left there. I can move them to intercept that Ardboy squad that's over in the left-hand top corner, so that they will have to assault that assault squad and not be able to take in attack my tactical marines or my other assault squad. So I can bar them off, but unfortunately, I don't think my assault squad is going to be able to survive very long, and that Ardboy squad might just get through. So I might have to be able to lay down some covering fire and possibly assault it with my other troops. An orc army is very difficult for me to face, and with almost any army, just because I don't usually take the shooting that's required to take down these enormous hordes of troops. Sometimes I guess my Tau could have done it pretty easily with their submunition railguns, but the Blood Angels are having a little bit of a hard time dealing enough damage to take down these orcs. So here's another photo of the end of round 2. As you can see, I've just wiped out that orc boy squad entirely, and my models have moved up. The assault squad has sort of barred that Ardboy squad from being able to assault my tactical marines, and hopefully I might be able to either engage the other orc squad in the distance there with my tactical marines, or I might be able to combo charge that Ardboy squad and try to take them out before they can do much more damage, any damage at all to my lines, and take my objective. So we'll see how it goes turn 3. So this is towards the end of my opponent's turn 3. This picture is pretty much only in there for the unbelievable epic factor. My assault squad has been wiped out by these Ardboys, and my captain is the only model left standing, fighting off this horde of enemies. As you can see, captain, very nice conversion there. It's a Ultramarine Honor Guard with the Sanguinary Guard backpack and really awesome looking sword. I used to run this army as normal Space Marines, and he was a captain with a Relic Blade and a Storm Shield, but right now the Storm Shield is just for show. But he sort of wishes he could have it against this enormous number of orcs that are bearing down on him. But hopefully I'll be able to get a combo charge in my turn and deal some damage back. So, like I said, I did get this charge in with both of my tactical squads and tried to wrap around my enemy. So, if I do manage to win and break him, I might be able to destroy him utterly, just because he doesn't have a fallback option. Although orcs with their mob rule are very hard to break, because most of the time they are going to be fearless and taking those fearless armor saves anyway. So, right now, basically, this is where most of the units of the board are. My opponent does have his battle wagon, which isn't doing much. It has a death roll and it's trying to take down one of my assault squads. It's running around and shooting at it with a melta gun. However, neither of them are really doing much damage. I believe I pulled off the zap gun that was on the top of the battle wagon, but that was it. And then my opponent does have another orc boys squad, just normal boys that are coming around the side, coming around my left flank to take my objective. And I do have a scout squad in my objective, trying as hard as they can to do damage. However, I'm not very impressed with the scouts' ability to actually shoot people with their guns. So I think I might be switching out the scout squad for a sanguinary priest or a similar priced unit pretty soon, because they are not doing very well. So this is the end of turn 4. What has actually happened here is that one of the tactical squads that was in that combat with the Ardboys took enough casualties to break and run over to that little destroyed wing there, sort of in the center of the picture. The Orks were then in assault range, and because the Space Marines have "and they shall know no fear," they automatically rallied, and the Orks were able to assault them again and just wipe out the squad and get that extra movement. So they are looking very close to my objective. It looks like they'll be able to get it on the next turn or the turn after. So we'll see how that goes. Maybe my scouts will be able to hold them off long enough for help to arrive, but I doubt it. As you can see, my assault squad has now been able to do enough damage to the battle wagon to really cripple it at all, but they're moving around the back to take my opponent's objective, because he's left it just to try to take mine and at least force a draw. But my captain and his one more tactical squad are still hanging out in the combat in the center there with the Ardboys, just trying to kill as many of them as they can, but it's not looking good so far. I have killed the Big Mac, but the Ardboys are just too tough to take down. So we'll see how it goes turn 5. So this is the end of turn 5. As you can see, the Orks have been able to wipe out the tactical squad and combat with them, and those wounds were enough to break the captain, even though he hasn't taken any wounds himself. In other news, the Orks are in my backfield are continuing to move towards my objective. However, they weren't in range this turn, although I have no doubt that they will be next turn. And my assault squad has moved on to my opponent's objective. So right now, if we roll to see if we go on to turn 6, I am winning the game. And if we do not go to turn 6, then I will win because I have 2 objectives to his 0. So here's the end of turn 6. As you can see, the Orks are piled onto my objective, and the battle wagon is moving awfully close to my objective, well, my opponent's objective, which I have then now taken. The Ardboys were successful in chasing down the captain and killing him with their power claw. Eventually, it took them quite a while though, and they are also moving towards the objective. Although they're not going to be able to make it, even if we do go to turn 7. So they don't really have a purpose at this point. It's really up down to the battle wagon, and as you can see, I've strung out my assault marines in the back there to try to get a multi-gun shot on its side armor, and hopefully at least immobilize it or stun it, because if I do that, then I will have that objective, and he will have no way of contesting it. So right now the game is a tie, and we're going to do the almighty roll to go on to turn 7. So here we are. Obviously, we end up going to turn 7. We were only 5 on the die for the random game length. And my multi-gun shot was ineffective. I only got a weapon destroyed result on the battle wagon, which is the worst possible result, considering that I really needed to stop it from moving and stop one big shooter from shooting at me that probably would not have done damage anyway. Was pretty disheartening. I did assault it because I had crack grenades and I got a couple glancing hits, but none of them were able to stop it from moving. So unfortunately, my opponent was able to contest that objective and win 1-0. Although really, I think either way it would have gone, it would have pretty much been by the skin of our teeth. I ended up only having 5 or 6 models left on the board at this point. So it was a very close game in my opinion. It came down to that last turn. It would have been a tie on turn 6. I would have won on turn 5. So it was really close. Really good game to my opponent. I honestly don't really have a way of beating this list off the top of my head. One thing I should note is I do not believe that tailoring army lists to combat specific opponents is really good practice. I mean, unless both opponents are doing it at the same time. And I'm pretty sure my opponent just had a 1,000-point list written out, and I did too. So I didn't really take any specialized weapons. Obviously, if I had been tailoring my army list, I would have taken probably double flamers on all of my assault squads and a couple more anti-horde options. So either way, it was a very good game, very close game. I don't know if it would have made too much of a difference just because it's so hard to take out those Orks, especially things like those Ardboys are very difficult. One thing I might have done differently was not charge my assault squad that was on my left into that initial combat. I didn't really need it. It didn't do much because not many models got in base contact. So it didn't really do enough damage to really matter. It did shield those Ardboys from attacking my tactical marines, but I think what would have been a better move would be to assault the Ardboys on turn 2 and then stop them from getting that furious charge, getting the extra attacks myself, and then holding them up so that I could have wiped out that right-hand Ork boy squad and then assaulted with my assault squads and my tactical squads into those Ardboys and just try to get the number of attacks that I needed to take them out. So in hindsight, that would have been a good move. Unfortunately, I didn't think of it at the time. I figured that I could just wipe that Ork boy squad out and everything would be fine. So I guess I would play better if I played if I played again. So I have been playing plenty of games lately, so stay tuned for some more battle reports coming out from me. I hope you enjoyed this one. And if you want to see more, check out my channel or check out my website, trevispaintingtable.com. Adios, amigos.